Hello, Jeff Helvin here with Ballen Brands, and today we're going to talk about having the right website tools to help you stop losing leads. So we work with a lot of agents, real estate agents, business owners, entrepreneurs, right? We do websites in all different industries. Talking about real estate specifically, however, there are specific tools that we need to use in order to help capture our leads. So it is not unusual for us to talk to a real estate agent that's had a website for many years and they simply just aren't getting leads. They're getting traffic, they have a great looking website, but nobody's signing up. They can't track any actual evidence that the website itself is helping generate a lead. So usually what that comes down to is just having the right tools in place. So having just a website, a great looking website that has valuable information is not enough today. Today we have to offer something of value, and that's what we're here to do. So we have certain tools that we use on our real estate websites that help us generate the leads that we should be getting and not losing the leads from the website visitors that are coming. So we're going to take a look at that here. So I've got my real estate website pulled up. I do real estate. I'm a real estate agent myself in Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas, and Boulder City. And so my website here is just an example of what we build for other agents as well. So on the page, of course, we have a lot of information, right? I've got featured locations. We've got some call to action buttons. I've got some properties here. But all of this is not, none of this, right? Anything that we offer here is not going to get me specifically someone to go, oh, let me just call Jeff. He seems like he knows what he's talking about, so let me give him a call. Fortunately, that's not how it works. So what we need to do is we have strategically put in place call to actions, lead magnets. Okay, so lead magnets, just in a simple explanation of that, is basically you're offering something of value in exchange for their information. Now, there is going to be some cases where people put in bogus information, but what we find is that if there is some sort of connection or if the website visitor is actually finding value in what you offer, then they're more likely to actually put in the real information, especially if it's something as simple as an email address. So I'm going to take a look here at some of those things. So we have two specific tools that we put in place on our real estate websites. The first one and most useful one, I should say, is going to be listings, IDX. Being able to show IDX or being able to show listings, properties that are available in our market on the website. Now, I do get questions a lot that's, from real estate agents say, well, aren't people just going to go to Zillow? Aren't they just going to go to realtor.com? Why do I need IDX on my website? And it's a very valid question. If someone randomly in your market is just looking to find information on properties, they probably will just go to Zillow. But when someone's on our website, having these properties available is going to keep them here. It's going to keep them in our web, right? That's the point of the website that we're building here. So as an example here, I have, the latest Las Vegas homes that are listed for sale. So if I click on one of the Las Vegas homes, I have more information about that. Now, if I want to see photos in this Las Vegas home, that's when it's going to ask me to register. So this is a lead magnet. The property itself, or the photos, I should say, of that property is the magnet. Therefore, now they would give me their information in order to see those photos. So that's a great example of how these lead magnets work. Now, there's also, if I were to go to, let's say, my locations, one of my locations here, and I've got information. This is great. More properties that are available. And then I also have a market report. So this is dynamically generated, again, with the IDX integration. So I can click on View Market Report. It's going to open a page that gives me more information about the specific market that I'm looking at. And what it allows me to do is I can also sign up to receive email updates on the Las Vegas market data. So that is, again, another lead magnet. It gives a reason. Let me sign up. Let me get this information. So you're offering them something of value, and they're providing, of course, their information in return. So that's the concept of the lead magnet. So that's IDX Broker. We've got the property search registration, and it captures buyers' information, potential buyers' information, or even sellers, if sellers are looking for market data. And it captures that in exchange, of course, for providing them that information, which is dynamically generated by the tool that we have in place. And in this case, IDX broker. All right, so that's one option. Another thing is we also have listings to leads. So listings to leads is an instant home value. That's how we primarily use it. But it's an amazing marketing tool just in general for if you have listings. But it offers a slew of other opportunities as well. So on the website itself, we have strategically in place on my selling blogs and things like that. What is my home worth? Let me find out what my home's potentially worth. Now, there of course is always the argument whether or not the information that they're getting is accurate. And in any automated dynamic report, there's going to be some variables, but it does help get them some information, which you can then follow up with them in order to, educate them on what maybe their true home value is worth, or at least, start the dialogue and the conversation to see what their interest might be. So that is another great lead magnet. Now, with listings to leads, if I log into the admin of listings to leads, they have quite a few other options on lead magnets, which is awesome. We've got listings themselves, so I can do marketing and it generates flyers automatically for us. I can run ads out of listings to leads, Facebook ads, things of that nature that allow me to promote my properties, coming soon properties, things like that. There's also PDF guides. So there's a handful of buyer and seller PDF guides, and they're somewhat customizable, at least in the image and the brand of these particular PDFs. So you'll see, first time home buyer guide, buying a new construction home, down payment assistance. So all of these are different options for me to actually offer to the end user. This is another lead magnet. So for what we do is we don't necessarily use all of the built-in capture tools like this. We might actually put the lead magnet on our website. For example, I could have on my buyer resources page, I can have something where if they're on my buyer, looking at my buyer content, I can have a pop-up come up that will actually prompt them to then download my buyer's guide. So something strategic like that, not just something on the home page or just something, anywhere that we're, if they're on the seller's pages, they're getting buyer prompts. We don't want that. Okay. We want things that are more specific. So with our websites that we integrate here and these particular tools, we have not only the lead magnet available, but we're able to set the proper settings in order to make that more in line with the actual visitor that's there. And that's what we want. So just to give you an idea of a pop-up, let me do a new private window. And we can also have the pop-ups only show the first time or once every week or whatever. But here's a website, offering simple information. If I scroll down a certain amount on the page, it'll then pop up and just say get early access to our listings, first name, last name, email. This then funnels into third-party CRM and then can do the nurturing from there. We're going to talk about that here in a minute as well. But that just gives you an idea of a pop-up and how those work, and that's all built in and readily available. So again, we can use these PDF guides as our magnets. Maybe you don't have something already available. That's okay. Using these third-party tools, the magnets are made available. So the websites and the tools are able to do the capture, and these tools also even give us the magnet itself. In the case of IDX, the magnet is the properties and the market information. In the case of listings to leads, the magnets could be, the specific property that you're marketing, or could also be any of these buyer or seller, PDFs that are available to download with your information on them, your marketing, your branding as well. So there's also social media content that you can plug right into to your social media channels. And there's landing pages as well. So landing pages include anything from instant home value, down payment assistance, new construction, just to give you an idea here on my website. Again, I can scroll down, or I can hit from the drop downs. I could say, oh, down payment assistance. I want to know more about that. So this actually then prompts them to fill out this information and provide them information that's available for down payment assistance. So again, the tools that we use, if you don't have this content available already or have a hard time creating this content, the tools that we plug in will make that readily available for you, which is an awesome thing to do. And then from there, of course, media libraries, we can have client reviews. We do reviews on the website. We can also promote Google reviews, but point is that, all of this is working together. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we want everything to lead back to the website. The magnets that we have, we're incorporating from these third-party tools onto the website so that we're getting people here to our brand and to our marketing. Now, the other thing that's important to understand is that once we generate the lead, we also still don't want to lose the lead down the line. A lot of times when we generate a lead, it is not someone who's necessarily ready this weekend to look at properties or to sell their property. So we need to keep in touch with them. So it is important to have, a good follow-up strategy. And if you already have a CRM that does some automation, definitely talk to us about how that integrates. We do offer a CRM as well, and we call that the infused brew is how we promote that. So you can buy the real estate website and then you can tack on the CRM. And we have a select set of campaigns here that we can, buyer nurturing, seller nurturing, past clients, our sphere of influence, birthday campaigns, anniversary campaigns. So we have all of that already ready to go. The content's already dialed in, the automation set in place. So if somebody registers, they get put into this system, and then they automatically start getting texts and emails in order to help nurture them as part of the campaign. So again, you need a website, then you need to lead magnets, and then at the end of the day, you really want to make sure you have a good follow-up strategy. So that's where the CRM comes to play. So this works a little bit more as a digital assistant, not just a CRM where I can keep some notes, but it actually does a lot of that pursuit for you. So if you're generating, especially if you're generating a good amount of leads, something like this is really going to help you filter through the ones that are legitimate or the ones that are more likely to do business with you, and not spend your time spinning your wheels on people that really just wanted that download and they're not looking anytime soon. But we don't want to lose the lead or the potential business after we've actually generated that lead as well. So again, website, lead, nurture that lead so we don't lose them. We want to have all of that in place in order to get the most out of our marketing efforts. So now the last thing I really want to touch on here is part of the lead magnets and offering valuable information is, again, the website itself has to have some value already. We're trying to establish some credibility. We're trying to say, we know what we're talking about. So again, if you notice on my website, I can go to buyer resources. I can click on, the ultimate guide to home loan programs. I can go to sellers. I've got different information in here, like what does it cost to wait to sell your home, right? A lot of people are on the fence about whether they should sell now or later. So we talk a little bit more about the cost of that. When I go to my locations pages, then I've got information specifically on those locations, and want to make sure that that's thoroughly represented so people who are looking, in my market see that I know what I'm talking about, that I have valuable information here. And then even as far as to have more of that local, that hyper-local lifestyle type of information, so things to do in your particular area. All of this is just, again, helping build credibility, not only just with the website visitor, but also with the search engines to see the content and the keywords and how that all plays together. So real estate content is a very important piece of the whole puzzle. We want to make sure we're professionally represented with a bio that talks about us. So I'll give you that example here. Get to know me, learn more, takes you to my bio page, has all that information, what people are saying about me, what I stand for, all of that good stuff. It's very important to have that out there so people can make that connection. Then we have our community pages, which again is more like our local, just locations and this different information specific to the area. Then we've got our hyper local, as I showed you, which would be like the things to do in. So Las Vegas, things to do in Boulder City, the areas that I represent here. And then market reports is also a great option. So we have the market report like a snapshot from IDX if you use their higher level plan. And that one, gives us, again, just the data. Whereas these market reports are written more like, interpreting the data. So is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? What's the increase or decrease month over month? So that's the kind of information, again, offers great valuable insights if that's not something you already have available to you. And then, of course, just the general blogs, the buyer and seller blogs as well, like I showed you. So basically, at the end of the day, it's important we have a good website. We've got good content, great content for you. We integrate the right tools, the IDX and the listings to leads as an example. And then of course we have a CRM to then follow up with all of them. So if you want to, get a little bit more information on all that or how that all comes together, we do have on our ballenbrands.com website, we've got the Ballen Real Estate website, which is our brews. And you can look through here, different themes. You can, see sample websites that we've done. And of course, here we've got your different, communities and the market and, reviews and our lead capture. Again, those components that we have in place, optimized for SEO, of course, that's very important. And so then we have our packages here, as well as the tools that we plug in and what those estimated costs are. And then finally, the optional CRM that we have added on there as well. So again, you can't just have a website, send people there, have a QR code, and just think that you're magically going to get business. Unfortunately, it does not work that way. We need to have the right tools in place, and we can help provide all of those for you. So if you have any questions on this or anything else, real estate website related, business website related, of course, marketing related, then by all means, you can reach out to us at team@ballenbrands.com.